Fashion and Shopping 002, Ame-tora, Tokyo's love affair with the Ivy League look.
1. What is Ame-tora? Ame-tora is the Japanese contraction for American Traditional Style, or American Trad. In contrast, Amekaji is short for American Casual. The odd abbreviations Japan comes up with are always a wonder to me. Ame-tora refers to Ivy League fashion that draws from Igirisu style traditions. Igirisu is a transliteration of the Portuguese word for England, Inglés. However, it refers to the UK as a whole. Incidentally, the kanji for Igirisu is Igirisu, which is shortened to Eikoku, and the kanji for America is America, which is shortened to Beikoku. Ivy in this context refers to the style of dress said to have originated in the Ivy League, a collegiate sports league comprised of 8 private universities on the East Coast, namely Harvard, Yale, Brown, Columbia, Penn, Princeton, Dartmouth, and Cornell. Iconic style staples include navy blazers with gold buttons, button-down Oxford shirts, regimental neckties, chinos, and loafers. The Ivy League look took off in Japan in the 1960s when Ishizu Kensuke opened up a van jacket store in Tokyo's glitzy Ginza district. Brooks Brothers, which celebrates its bicentennial in 2018, is a particularly famous Ame-tora brand. Also very popular is Polo Ralph Lauren, which was created by a former Brooks Brothers salesman named Ralph Lauren. The Omotesando Aoyama area is where you'll find the Brooks Brothers and Polo Ralph Lauren flagships, as well as street-level stores for other Ame-tora standard-bearers like Paul Stuart and Tommy Hilfiger. Also of note is the century-plus-old JPress, which is owned by major Japanese apparel company Onward Kashiyama, and has many branches in department stores across the country. 2. Brooks Brothers Aoyama flagship. Brooks Brothers, known for its iconic golden fleece mascot, a sheep suspended in a ribbon, celebrates its 200th birthday in 2018. The brand's history of outfitting U.S. presidents, perhaps most famously Abraham Lincoln and John F. Kennedy, who regularly wore Brooks Brothers suits, has become the stuff of fashion lore. In fact, it is said that 40 out of 44 presidents donned Brooks Brothers attire of some kind. It is also known for introducing the button-down shirt, which has since become a menswear staple, and for bringing the UK's regimental striped ties to America. UK rep tie stripes are angled left to right, while Brooks Brothers reversed the direction and made theirs right to left. Brooks Brothers also popularized and legitimized the classic No. 1 sack suit, which is characterized by a 3-button blazer featuring natural shoulders and rolled lapels. The brand truly established the foundations of classic American fashion. To a Californian like me who spent most days of the year in a t-shirt and shorts or jeans, American trad, in other words Brooks Brothers and its ilk, is emblematic of the East Coast. Not quite a world away, but a distant sartorial school that also represented attire to aspire to. For students at West Coast schools like Stanford, located near where I grew up in Silicon Valley, and my own alma mater, UCLA, East Coast schools such as Harvard, Brown, Columbia, Princeton, and the like have a pretentious, self-congratulatory air, but of course that sentiment often masks envy. At the same time, the director and noted New Yorker, Woody Allen, clearly doesn't have a particularly high opinion of Hollywood films. To this day, when I encounter East Coast expats in Tokyo, I'm often told my Californian accent gives me away. "KAZOO, you speak with a Californian accent," they say, as if the Golden State was a country unto itself. Just between you and me, part of me is relieved that even after 10+ years in Japan, my Californian accent has stuck with me. In any case, when I came to Japan on a study abroad program to Sophia University, I managed to muster the courage to walk into the Brooks Brothers flagship along Aoyama Dori for the first time. No joke, my heart was aflutter. There is a dignified air to the place that makes it deceptively inaccessible, but upon entering, the friendly staff welcomed me with smiles, and thankfully my Japanese revealed nothing of my West Coast origins. To my delight, the store had plenty to offer, even for someone of my size. I'm average by American standards. You can find the brand's full lineup of products, including their women's and children's collections. I buy red fleece for casual occasions and golden fleece for business occasions. It goes without saying that their button-down shirts and polos are popular wardrobe staples, but I also recommend the pajamas, boxers, and t-shirt 3-packs. 3. Ralph Lauren Omotesando flagship. Polo Ralph Lauren, which just celebrated its 50th anniversary in 2017, is a brand that epitomizes the American dream. It is not only a maker of fashion, but also a purveyor of an outlook on life and lifestyle as a whole. And it is an active lifestyle inspired by a love of sports. Golf, tennis, a countryside retreat with horses. All of these activities embody the American ideal of success. That the story of Ralph Lauren himself is quintessentially American perhaps accounts for the brand's widespread appeal for the American public. After dropping out of college and serving in the Army, Ralph Lauren arrived on the fashion scene as a salesman for Brooks Brothers. He would strike out on his own with his own brand of neckties. The brand found success after Ralph Lauren designed costumes for the film adaptation of F. Scott Fitzgerald's The Great Gatsby. Then Woody Allen and Diane Keaton wore several Ralph Lauren items in Annie Hall. In The Great Gatsby, Robert Redford's portrayal of Jay Gatsby perfectly captured the essence of the character that had been brought to life in the imagination of so many readers. Meanwhile, in Annie Hall, Woody Allen and Diane Keaton captured the essence of New Yorkers. F. Scott Fitzgerald is, incidentally, one of my favorite authors, and I have been a fan of Woody Allen's films. Through these two films, I was strongly drawn to Ralph Lauren's America. Ralph Lauren has introduced a range of product lines and labels to date, and continues to do so. In addition to its main line, Polo Ralph Lauren, it produces Purple Label and Double RL on the men's side, and Ralph Lauren Collection and Lauren on the women's side. It also sells children's clothing, sleepwear, watches, and more. It even runs a number of dining establishments overseas. I was also impressed by the Chaps, Polo Sports, and Polo Country product lines and labels as well, although these have all either been discontinued or are no longer part of the brand's main lineup. By the time I'm 40, I hope to become the kind of guy who can pull off a Purple Label made-to-order suit. Incidentally, the current global ambassador and the face of the advertising campaign for the Purple Label is Akira from the Japanese dance vocal group Exile. In 2006, Ralph Lauren successfully became the first designer to become the official outfitter for Wimbledon, one of tennis's 4 biggest tournaments, a Grand Slam, and the one with the longest history and prestige. It is the only Grand Slam held on grass. In recent years, however, disagreements between Lauren and his hand-picked successor as CEO about creative direction led to financial troubles that culminated in the brand's flagship along Fifth Avenue in New York City being shut down in 2017. It seems the life of the brand is as American as it gets, full of ups and downs. 4. Paul Stuart, Aoyama. Many landmark buildings stand along Omotesando Main Street, and among them the weathered stone wall facade of Paul Stewart's Aoyama flagship stands out for all the right reasons. The stately stone wall gives the entrance a dimly lit feel even during the day, which naturally gives one pause before entering. Enter, however, and you will find yourself in a space with plenty of breathing room. In addition to menswear, there is also women's wear on the first floor, and an area for custom tailoring on the second floor. The stone wall is apparently what remains of a long stone wall that was originally built along Omotesando, the main approach to the shrine, at the same time that Meiji Jingu was being constructed. The Paul Stewart brand, which comes out of New York, is licensed to Sanyo Shokai for its Japan operations. Sanyo Shokai is a major Japanese apparel manufacturer that has long been associated with Burberry, but its licensing contract ended in 2015, and currently it sells brands like Macintosh London. Compared to brands like Brooks Brothers and Ralph Lauren, Paul Stewart may not have name recognition as widespread, but it has a core of long-time adherents. Its products have all been made with care and possess a distinct charm that quickly turns the intrigued into the long-time loyalist. In the personalized made-to-measure corner of the Omotesando store, I've seen what I'd venture to guess were the doctor type and the lawyer type, well-to-do folks with an air of elegance, seemingly unfettered by time, placing orders for custom-tailored suits. I'm curious about their jackets and slacks, so I hope to try them out someday soon. 5. Tommy Hilfiger. Of all the Ame-tora fashion brands, Tommy Hilfiger is perhaps the youngest, both in terms of history and style. The brand's Omotesando store is located in Tokyu Plaza Omotesando, Harajuku, which sits at Jingumai Crossing, where Omotesando Main Street meets Meiji Dori. From what I can tell, it caters to people in their early 20s, both Japanese and from overseas. Tommy Hilfiger is part of the Ame-tora tradition, but its aesthetic also incorporates amekaji, American casual elements. Their sport collection is especially worth checking out. And this is completely subjective, but it seems to me that the athletic type Tommy Hilfiger has in mind for its sports collection has a lot in common with what many American boys imagine to be the ideal woman. To be more specific, it feels to me like the Tommy Hilfiger woman is a relatively well-off socialite who was perhaps a cheerleader up until high school and joined the golf club in college. Having heard that Tommy Hilfiger had started doing tailored suits, I swung by to check it out, but the aesthetic was much too sleek for my body type. Apparently, it wasn't meant to be. 6. JPress. JPress is an iconic Ame-tora brand that was founded in 1902 in New Haven, Connecticut. Here in Japan, the brand has been licensed to Onward Kashiyama, which previously also had the rights to Ralph Lauren, and is mostly sold in department stores. If you ask me, and this is completely subjective, JPress is the most faithful to the Ame-tora tradition. And that goes not just for brand image, but also clientele. People who wear JPress keep it real. You can count on them not to do anything unexpected, and you can rely on them to get things done. And this, again, is completely subjective, but I can't help but feel that the JPress products you can get your hands on here in Japan are more well-made than the JPress products you can find in America. When I think of the JPress brand image, I picture an old man of reputable lineage buying a JPress blazer for his grandson's grade school enrollment ceremony. I picture that kid growing up and coming back to JPress time and time again for his suits. I've come across JPress in Tokyo department store in Shibuya, as well as Isetan and Takashimaya department stores in Shinjuku, and there's always something endearing about the brand that comes across. 7. Epilogue. Big Brother is truly a child of the Ame-tora tradition. His father, in his youth, was a member of the youth tribe known as Miyukizoku, guys and girls in their late teens who were among the first in Japan to adopt the Ame-tora style, and was, in modern parlance, a dokusha model, readers who doubled as amateur fashion models for Men Kura, the men's fashion magazine Men's Club. So, unsurprisingly, Big Brother had his button-down shirts purchased at Van Jacket in Isetan Shinjuku's new wing, which later became Isetan Men's, and his suits tailored at Yamagataya in Ginza. In middle school and high school, he got his button-downs overseas from Ralph Lauren, which had yet to arrive in Japan. For his coming-of-age ceremony when he turned 20, he wore a tweed suit from Brooks Brothers. In his 20s, he went on a Ralph Lauren bonanza, buying clothes at their stores in Ikese, Seibu Department Store in Ikebukuro, Shibuse, Seibu Department Store in Shibuya, Ralph Lauren Harajuku, located at the time in Harajuku Quest Building, which today sits next to Nike's flagship and is home to Puma and Laura Ashley stores, Ralph Lauren Ginza, located at the time along the same Ginza Nichome Street as a certain delicious gyoza restaurant, Ala Moana Center in Honolulu, and Vancouver, Canada. The products he bought in Canada have labels sporting both English and French. They read L/G. He says all in all he purchased enough to buy a luxury automobile. In his 30s, his go-tos were Ralph Lauren Purple Label suits and shirts, as well as shirts, trousers, and jackets from the defunct Black Label. Even today, when we play tennis or golf, he sports a polo and proudly points at the logo on his chest and laughs to himself. And without fail, he brings up the same piece of trivia. On Lionel Richie's eponymous debut solo album, he wears a Ralph Lauren summer sweater on the album cover. Only the logo in front, intriguingly, has been removed.
Fashion and Shopping 002. Ame-tora. Tokyo's love affair with the Ivy League look.
www.digtokyo.jp